The Autobots and Decepticons are back again and are ready to roll out in the brand new ENERGON universe from Skybound Comics and comic superstar Daniel Warren Johnson. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Transformers issue number 1 and find out together, shall we? Alrighty then, so full disclosure, I actually asked Skybound very nicely if I could get a press copy of this book to cover on the channel, and believe it or not, they actually said yes, which is more than DC and Marvel have done for most of my career. The only hiccup is that the press copy obviously had a bunch of watermarks on it, meaning even though I am recording this video in September, I'm probably not going to be able to upload it until October when the book officially drops. Now, as we join the story proper, we are reintroduced to what will probably be a familiar name and face to those who have followed the Transformers. I'm of course talking about Spike Witwicky. He's the kid from the Gen 1 cartoon. He's made a ton of appearances in a bunch of different Transformers stories, but here he is now, just a regular kid trying to pull his drunk deadbeat of a father out of the bar so that he can make his night shift. What's Sparky Witwicky so upset about that he's drowning his sorrows? Well, as we discover at some point before the beginning of the book, Spike actually had a brother named Timmy, who is heavily implied to have died tragically. In fact, Spike was taking his dead brother's telescope all the way up to the mountains with his friend Carly so that they could look at the stars. Carly has a super cool airbrushed van with dragons and wizards on it, so obviously she's the coolest character and my favorite right out the gate. It seems that Spike had actually come to his dad tonight with good news. He had gotten into Berkeley, which means that he might actually be able to make his dream of becoming an astronaut a reality, but unfortunately there's still a huge divide between father and son, so it looks like that conversation is going to have to be tabled for the next little bit. Spike and Carly aren't on the mountaintop long before they end up falling through due to a mysterious earthquake that rocks the entire range. Turns out this isn't actually much of a mountain at all, but actually an ancient crashed Cybertronian craft that's been here since Primus only knows how long. Spike and Carly aren't in the spaceship for long when they end up coming upon a bunch of deactivated Cybertronians, faces that will be familiar to longtime fans as they encompass both Autobots and Decepticons. As we learn, the earthquake was actually the work of Jetfire, also sometimes known as Skyfire, a Transformer scientist who occasionally flips back and forth between whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. Apparently, Jetfire wasn't here for the big calamity that saw all of his friends and fellow Cybertronians go inactive. He kickstarts a machine that he hopes will be able to not only reconstitute the fallen, but also give them new forms that they might use to help disguise themselves while on Earth. The order in which the robots get reconstituted, though, is something of a crapshoot, and it turns out that Starscream actually ends up waking up first, and even though I am no expert by any stretch of the imagination in the extensive lore that is Transformers, even I know Starscream is one of the best sniveling, backstabbing villains ever created. As we discover, Jetfire and Starscream were actually friends, which I mean makes sense, they're both Jets, right? All Jets know each other, right? So it's understandable that Jetfire is a little shocked to see just how truly 100% cultishly devoted Starscream has become in the intervening years to the Decepticon ideology. Starscream starts executing downed Autobots only to be stopped by the appearance of Optimus Prime, who, because this is a Daniel Warren Johnson comic, is sure to take him down with a series of recognizable wrestling moves. You see, first he gives him the clothesline, brother, then the Snapdragon suplex. Optimus is hulking up and cleaning house, but oh wait, Soundwave and Ravage come to and they end up doing a run-in. Optimus is on the ropes and the heels are about to get the 3 count, but all of a sudden, who's that in the corner? Oh, it's Ratchet with a clattering big boot. Again, for those of you who don't watch wrestling, I assure you that was all very accurate, and hey, if you run an indie fed, I would happily do commentary sometime. Poor Spike and Carly end up finding themselves caught between all of this alien robot craziness, and once Optimus realizes that they're there, he goes out of his way to try and protect them as best he can. And in this case, best he can means loading them up in his truck trailer, and I mean, yeah, the truck trailer has lots of uses. It does way more than just disappear when Optimus transforms. Before our heroes can properly leave, though, Optimus ends up coming upon the deactivated body of Bumblebee, who in this universe too seems to share a deep and important bond to Optimus. So much to the point that when Spike sees a saddened Optimus cradle Bumblebee in his arms, he's no doubt thinking thinking about what happened to his brother Timmy. Now don't worry, the human characters in this story aren't just props, they end up pulling their weight almost instantly as Optimus once again gets rushed by the Decepticons, meaning that Spike and Carly have to push Optimus's blaster closer to him. And once he gets it, Optimus is quick to bust some Autobot plasma caps into some very deserving Decepticon asses. And once enough room is made, we get our very first transform and roll out of our brand new series. Starscream and the other Decepticons try their hardest to give chase, and considering that they have air superiority, it should be very easy for them to overtake the heroes, only they can't as they expend all their excess energon. Now where exactly are these giant alien robots going to lay low until the heat's off? Well, luckily for Optimus and Ratchet, Spike knows just the place, a local quarry wherein he would regularly play with his brother. It's here that Jetfire ends up actually succumbing to his injuries, and we learn a little bit more about what became of him and the rest of the Autobots. Apparently he left before things on Cybertron got really bad, in hopes of touring the universe and finding some sort of fix for Cybertron's problems. And hey, if you read that new Void Rivals book from Robert Kirkman, which is also connected to the ENERGON universe, you probably saw him make a cameo. So yeah, long story short, Cybertron is boned, Optimus is boned, and all the Autobots are boned unless he can do something about it, and soon. Of course, it's not just the other Cybertronians that are in trouble either, as Starscream makes his way to the local power plant, which, hey, hilariously enough, Spike's dad Sparky looks at, looking to steal some electricity and turn it into energon. It's while there, as the comic comes to a close, Starscream ends up brutally murdering Davy, Sparky's more level-headed friend. And so that was Transformers issue number 1, everybody, and I gotta say, I don't know what I really expected jumping into this one, only that I knew I wanted to take this cool, interesting ride that Skybound is promising us, a brand new shared universe with Transformers, G.I. Joe, Void Rivals, and probably more. Like I said previously, I'm no expert when it comes to Transformers lore. I was actually more of a Beast Wars, Beast Machines kid growing up, but thankfully I knew just enough by cultural osmosis to really get into this story, and I think a lot of people will feel the same way. This is a very approachable, fresh start, one that Daniel Warren Johnson is sure to put his own unique spin on artistically. I mean, if classic Transformers characters doing wrestling moves doesn't move you in some way, then well, I just don't know what to do with you, honestly. I think the real victory of this book is being sure to center the whole thing on the human drama and the human dynamic. Spike and Optimus have clearly lost people very close to them, and they're probably going to be brought together by their shared grief. Spike is also kind of struggling with his father right now. And really, who is Optimus Prime if not one of the greatest surrogate father figures in all of geek fiction? The whole thing basically writes itself. Overall, I would give this one a very positive 8.5 out of 10. I think this is off to a really good start. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow, and help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.